All right, we on. All right, number 12, y'all. So we have 2x plus y equals 3. And 4x plus 4y equals 8. Shuaib, just watch. Okay? Looking at the first equation, it looks like the y is the easiest variable to solve. And it is. Remember, low-hanging fruit, right? The coefficient on y is 1. So after I move this 2x over, I'm not going to have to do anything else, am I? You feel what I'm saying? So we're going to take this first equation. Now, could I have solved for x? Yeah. But I'd end up with some fractions, and we don't like fractions, do we? Okay? So I'm going to rewrite it just so you can see what's going on. So we're subtracting 2x from both sides. And I end up with y being equal to negative 2x plus 3. So now that I've isolated a variable, okay, I've isolated a variable. Now I'm going to take that variable and replace it with its equivalent in the second equation, okay? Everywhere I see a y, I'm going to replace it with what? Negative 2x plus 3. So here we go. 4x plus 4 times the quantity of negative 2x plus 3 equals 8. How we feel about what I just wrote down? We all right? You trying to sneak in right, ain't you? I see you. Now that we replaced it, y'all, the new information is done. Everything else, y'all know how to do this, right? So we have 4x, minus 8x, right? Because 4 times negative 2x, okay? And then 4 times 3 is what? Of course it is. Okay? I almost feel silly doing this part with you because y'all know how to do this. 4x minus 8x is negative 4x. Bring down my plus 12 equals 8. Finish solving it out. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I get negative 4x is equal to negative 4. How we feel? Much better? Good. I like to hear that. And I get that x is equal to 1. All right, cool. Say what? What's wrong, y'all? Questions on the floor? So now that I have what x is equal to, y'all, I'm going to come right back up here. You see how it's already, y is already isolated. We're not going to make this hard, okay? Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with 1. And I'm going to have that y is now equal to, let me draw a line. Y is equal to negative 2 times 1 plus 3. All right? Okay, so y is equal to negative 2 plus 3. Y is equal to 1. So my final answer, young people, is going to be 1 comma 1.
Where you get all the negative 4?
Where did I get it from? Right here, baby. Look. That canceled out. The negative 4 came down right here, right? Okay, so, and then 8 minus 12 is what? All right. I got to solve for x, don't I? So I'm going to divide both sides by what? That's not a 4. Negative 4. Okay? All right? And then negative 4 divided by negative 4 is going to be 1. Does that make sense? Okay. Adasia, you okay? All right. Yes.
So you did negative 2 times 1 and you did negative
All right, 14, y'all, we have y equals negative 3x plus 4. And then negative 6x minus 2y equals what, baby? Thank you. All right, lucky for us, the first equation is already solved for what? Y. Okay, put your phone up, please. So that means in the second equation, everywhere I see a y, I'm going to replace it with what? Very good. Okay. So I have negative 6x minus 2 times negative 3x plus 4 equals negative 8. I'm so sorry. All right. So this negative 6x plus 6x, let me just recap it for the video. Sorry, y'all. Negative 2x times negative 3x is going to be this positive 6x. Negative 2 times a positive 4 is a negative 8. Okay? Then we bring down this negative 8. Now notice, negative 6x plus 6x is 0x, right? They actually add out. They cancel out, don't they? Okay? So I end up with negative 8 being equal to negative 8. It doesn't cancel out. It's just telling you that negative 8 equals negative 8. Now, young people, when this happens, okay, when this happens, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Whether you end up with some number being equal to itself, x being equal to x, y being equal to y. Does anybody remember what I said to you yesterday? What's the solution then? Very good. Infinitely many solutions. I'm not even proceeding. There's nothing to proceed with. Okay? There's nothing else to do. When you see that one side is perfectly balanced, Jalen, with the other side, then you know that your solution is going to be infinitely many solutions, period.
Even if the y coordinate isn't like that.
How you gonna get to it? My question is how you gonna get to it? You have nothing to plug in for x. X is equal to x. If I plugged in x for x, I would get this exact same equation. Listen, baby, just listen to what I'm telling you. Do you see how we got negative 8 is equal to negative 8? Okay? That is a clear indication that you have infinitely many solutions. Period. Okay? Notice, when we solve this out, the variables canceled out, and we ended up with negative 8 being equal to negative 8. Whenever this happens, the answer will always be, and I rarely say this, but the answer will always be infinitely many solutions. Period. Even if. Don't make it into something it don't have to be, baby. Don't make it hard. Just listen to me and let me teach you, okay? Receive it. Write it down. You may get negative 8 equals negative 8. You may get y equals y. You may get x equals x. Kiani. What else are you doing? You're not paying attention. I need you to pay attention. Yes. They're not both 6x's. One of them is a negative 6x, and one of them is a positive 6x. What's negative 6 plus 6?
0.
Okay?
0.
That's why I crossed them out. May I proceed? Okay. So we're moving on to number 16. All right, y'all, we have x equals y minus 1. And we have 6x plus 2y. What am I looking at? Oh, I'm tripping. My bad, y'all. I was looking at the wrong one. My terrible. All right, so we have negative x plus y equals negative 1. All right, cool. The first equation is solved for us, isn't it? Already solved for us, but so that means wherever I see an x, I'm replacing it with y minus 1. Here's my x right here, isn't it? And yes, you do need parentheses, so let's do this. So I have negative x, but x is equal to what? Thank you. Okay, so now I have plus y equals negative 1. I'm just copying down the rest of the problem, okay? Okay? So here, what do I have to do with this negative symbol? Push it through, absolutely. That's really a negative 1, isn't it? Maybe I should use a different color, but it's cool. So negative 1 times y would be a negative y, right? Negative 1 times negative 1 would be a positive 1. Plus y equals negative 1. See some weird stuff happening here. When I combine those y's, the negative y plus y, what is that going to result as? Okay, they're going to cancel out. Right, Jairus? Yes. Okay. So now I have, wait a minute. I have 1 is equal to negative 1. Wait, look up here. Ain't no thinking. Ain't no thinking. This is a positive 1. Hush. Just be quiet. This is a positive 1, is it not? This is a negative 1, is it not? Let me ask you a question. On what planet is 1 equivalent to negative 1? None. Therefore, what is the answer? I heard somebody say it. No solution. When you end up with something that is simply fundamentally not true, you might end up with 8 equals negative 7. You might end up with 3 equals 5. Either way, one side, they're presenting that 1 is equal to negative 1. This is a false statement, period. Ain't no what ifs, ain't no if, ands, or buts, even ifs, or anything else. This is a false statement, therefore there is no solution for this system of equations. Is that clear? All right. Do y'all see the difference between these two? This one, they were perfectly equal, like exactly equal to each other, right? Okay, the one before. This one side is not equivalent to the other. Therefore, the answer was no solution. There's a very fundamental difference. Do you see it? Yes. Okay. Did some of you guys were these the two that y'all have issues with? I know some of y'all had problems specifically. Okay. You see how to handle it now? All right. Any questions about 16? Savannah, is this still hard? Do you feel better about this concept? Good. Let's take a look at number 18. Okay? Sorry, y'all. Okay. We chugging along, y'all. Chugging along. So we have y equals negative 3x plus 1. And we also have 2x plus y equals 1. Obviously, y is already solved for you. You should really appreciate this. Take your earphones off, camera. Okay, really appreciate this because that's really the work. Half the work is done for you. And so remember, everywhere I see a y, I'm replacing it with negative 3x plus 1. Okay? And so now, okay, the coefficient on this set of parentheses is 1. So when I push through the 1, it's going to be of no consequence. I'm going to rewrite it without the parentheses. But there's going to be a little bit of a change because we're adding a negative, right? So that's the same thing as subtraction. Okay? Plus 1 equals 1. How we feel? We okay? Sit up, Javis. You can't learn with your head down, baby. So now, we back in middle school again, right? 2x minus 3x is negative x. So I have negative x plus 1 equals 1. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So I get that negative x is equal to 0. Yeah, I'm going to have to divide both sides by negative 1, right? But x is still going to be equal to what? 0. Okay? So if x is equal to 0, I come back to my first equation, okay? And everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in 0. So y is equal to negative 3 times 0 plus 1, right? Equals 0 plus 1 equals 1. Y equals 1. So my final answer is going to be, 0, 1. How we feel? Bless the teacher. Hold on. Almost done, y'all. Almost done. So number 20, we have 5x minus y equals 5. And then we have negative x plus 3y equals 13. I'm going to change it up this time. I'm going to take the second equation, yes. I'm in the middle of something. I'm going to take the second equation. You see where the x is? I was looking at the first equation. I was like, maybe we can take this one and solve for y. We could. But I just want to show you that you can take the second one and solve it for x, okay? It's really up to you, Tajay. Please look this way. Please turn around and look this way. Your body's facing the opposite way of the lesson. Thank you, sugar. All right, so if I'm going to isolate this x, I'm going to subtract 3y from both sides, right? Hello? So I end up with negative x is equal to negative 3y plus 13. Now, we've never had a problem like this before, have we? Where there was a number in front of the x. Guess what? Just like with anything else, the way I get rid of it, that's a negative 1, right? So I'm going to divide every term up here by what? By negative 1, absolutely. Okay? So now I have that x is equal to positive 3y minus 13. So that means in the first equation, everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with what? Absolutely. There's my x right there, right? So let's come out to the side. Okay, sis. All right. So I'm writing 5 times 3y minus 13 minus y equals 5. Oh, y'all can't see anything I'm writing. Sorry. Y'all ain't say nothing to me. Everywhere I saw an x, I replaced it with 3y minus 13, okay? We all right? So now, back in middle school, y'all know what to do. I got to push that 5 through, right? So I have 15y minus 65, correct? Minus y equals 5. How we feeling? Tajay, take that hat off, please. I should have been told you to take it off. I'm going to combine my y terms, right? So 15y minus y is going to be 14y, correct? So I have 14y minus 65 is equal to 5. Now I'm going to add 65 to both sides. That cancels out. I have 14y is equal to 70, right? I think 14 times 5 is 70, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by 14. Can someone verify that for me?
14 times 5?
Yeah. What's 70 divided by 14?
5. Oh, yeah. Yes, 70.
It's 5? Okay, cool. So now, guys, I have that y is equal to 5, right? So what am I going to do with this information? Plug it in to this equation right here that we already have sitting over to the side for us, right? And I have x equals 3 times 5 minus 13. Okay? So 3 times 5 is what? Naturally, it's 15. And 15 minus 13 is what? So x equals 2. So my final answer, young people, I beg your pardon? Be careful. Be careful. Don't, that's not funny. Chill out. 2, 5. We all make mistakes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is not the only way to do this, sugar. Did you take the first equation and solve for a variable? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Young people, don't think that this is the only way that you could do this, okay? I've just switched it up to show you that there are different ways of doing these things. Okay, young people? All right, babies. Last one. 22. Oh, sorry. What did I say, Shoaib? What did I say? We're going to fight, Shoaib. But I really do want you to relook at these the video after I'm going to let you know when I upload it. Please look at it tonight, okay? And, like, write with me going through the video, okay? All right. 22, we have negative 5x plus 4y equals 20. And 10x minus 8y equals negative 40. Okay? There's no easy way to do this one, y'all. Very simply, go with the one that has the lowest or the smallest coefficients and most compatible coefficients. So I see a 5, I see a 4, and I see a 20. So I know that if I divide any of these numbers, I'm going to end up with one of them is going to divide out evenly, but unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with the fraction, y'all. It's just a fact. Okay? We're just going to have to deal with it. So let's take this first equation. And do y'all mind if I solve for the variable y? Hello? Okay. I'm going to rewrite it. Negative 5x plus 4y equals 20. Okay? If I'm solving for y, I need to move this negative 5x. I'm going to add 5x to both sides. Cancels out. 4y equals 5x plus 20. Now I'm going to divide every term by 4. And I have that y is equal to 5 over 4x plus 5. Got us a funky fraction, right? We'll be okay. So that means everywhere I see a y, I'm replacing it with 5 over 4x plus 5. I'm sorry. Slow. What, me doing this? I apologize. (10x minus 8 times 5 over 4x plus 5. Now be careful how we handle that fraction, okay? And this is kind of ugly, but y'all get the idea. And do you see how I wrote this 8 kind of high? I need for you to understand that when we handle this 8 and this fraction, that 8 has what underneath it? A 1. And how do we multiply fractions? Straight across. All right, keep that in mind. Eyes up here, ladies. So we have 10x. Are we okay? Oh, I forgot to put the equals negative 40. Sorry, y'all. We okay? All right. So negative 10x. Now, when I multiply this negative 8 times 5 over 4, remember there's a 1 underneath. Negative 8 times 5 is a negative 40, so this is going to be minus 40 over 1 times 4 is 4x. And some of you already can see that it's going to simplify very simply, which is cool. And then I take the same negative 8, and I'm multiplying it by this 5, so it's going to be minus 40, okay? Equals negative 40. How did I get what? Tajay, did you ask a question? Somebody said, how did I get something? Eight times 5 is 40. 1 times 4 is 4. Now, 40 divided by, take your, do you have earphones in your ear? Ma'am. Play with me. Take them off. I don't want to see them. (40) divided by 4 is naturally going to be what? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. So now I have 10x minus 10x minus 40 equals a negative 40. Well, looky there. 10x minus 10x is what? Cancel out, right? And I have negative 40 equals negative 40. I beg your pardon? Is this no solution? No, this is infinitely many, because this is this not a true statement? Negative 40 is in fact equal to negative 40, right? Therefore, there are infinitely many solutions. Okay, lump sugars? Questions or concerns?